Good afternoon. Kevin O'Keefe at Lexblog here with Joshua Lenon from Clio at
Hi.
ClioCon. It's great to see you. How many years have you been at Clio?
This is actually the anniversary of my 13th year.
Which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, which is the number of ClioCons we've had. Yeah.
I mean, and I've asked you more than once. I mean, there aren't that many people that have been at Clio as long as you.
Yeah.
It's probably
Yeah.
less.
I'm in the top 10, maybe top 5 now, longest serving Clions.
Yeah. And what makes you attractive to this Clio, empire? Because there's something unique about you. It must be going on where they're saying, Joshua's adding something here. He's obviously not a person if we want to lose.
That's a great question.
I mean, nobody comes up to you and says, "Hey, Josh, we just want to tell you today why you're so wonderful."
Yeah. This is why we're keeping you. I'm always looking for some way to contribute, but I think I have kind of an angle on what that means. So my title is lawyer in residence, and a good chunk of my job is helping teach Clio about what it means to be a legal professional, what it means to do legal work. And so there are lots of different places to contribute, and that's very much changed over the years. There are blog posts to write, right? There are webinars to give. There's interpreting data, which I do on our legal trends report, and I've done for every one of them for the last 10 years. It's being able to then take what I've learned inside a technology company and communicate it back to the greater legal industry. And being able to like context switch between all those different tasks and roles is something that I think I excel at, and I think Clio gets to take advantage of.
I mean, I can remember early days, you'd be out meeting with bars just explaining the whole concept of what it could be to use the cloud.
Oh, yeah. I did like a road show through northern Louisiana, like get in a car, drive to the next small town, meet with the local bar, eat pizza as I gave a presentation, and then hop in the car and drive to the next one for the next day. No.
What's been the most rewarding thing of these 13 years?
So what inspired me to shut down my practice and move into Clio was I realized that the practice of law is just harder than it needs to be. Like, we expect a lot out of lawyers. They have to plug the gaps for an underfunded legal judiciary, for a society that's grappling with, like, quite frankly, growing wealth inequality, right? An education system that is making a buck off of them and student loans. We ask a lot of lawyers, and it's just harder than it needs to be. And that's a problem because lawyers are a net good for the public, right? Everything we know about when somebody gets legal representation, they have greater access to justice. There are fairer outcomes for all the participants in a dispute, for example, if both sides are represented by lawyers. And so the fact that we put so much on lawyers and make it so hard is just something that I can't accept. And there are very few places, I think, where an individual can make a change in that, right? There's legal technology where we're teaching lawyers like better ways to do these things, and maybe being a regulator in a bar association. That's it. Those are the only two places. And nothing against bar associations, but you can only really impact your members. Here, I'm helping improve lawyers' ability to represent and help and live their calling in 108 countries around the world.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I assume you haven't traveled to all 108 yet.
No. In fact, as we've grown as an organization, I've had to travel less. And so I'm not doing the Northern Louisiana road shows anymore. But I'm not getting invited to Singapore to speak to their Ministry of Justice, who's like subsidizing Clio purchases there because they think it helps their lawyers so much.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
Every year, Clio has a legal trends report.
Yes.
And we open it up like it's a Bible on certain issues because it tends to be. You play a role in that legal trends report.
Mm-hmm.
First off, what is it? What's your goal with it?
So the Legal Trends Report is something we've been publishing since 2016. And it is a big data review of the practice of law. And what that means is, because Clio is cloud-based, every lawyer using Clio of every firm size is using the same software. And so while we can't see confidential information, we can't see client files, we can see certain usage statistics and certain settings that we might need to know in order to make the software work. Like, if you are billing hourly, you can set your default hourly amount. And Clio needs to be able to see the bell curve from low to high of all those hourly rates. I can't tell you whose rate that is, but I can see the bell curve that goes from 20 to 2,000, to just make numbers up. But because we can see that bell curve, I can tell you the average hourly rate for lawyers in the US right now, which is $350 an hour. Because we've been tracking that and publishing it since 2016, I can tell you that the growth rate in the average hourly rate for lawyers from 2024 to 2025 was 4%, but from 2016 to 2025 was 38%, which is faster than the rate of inflation over that whole time period. But we can also then do the exact same thing for non-lawyers, so legal secretaries, paralegals, other non-lawyer timekeepers. And the average rate for them is around $187 per hour. It's only grown around 28% over the last 10 years. If you aren't adjusting your paralegal rates, you're probably losing money in your law firm due to inflation, right? And so that big data approach, where I can see some really high level anonymized aggregate information, gives us insight into the practice of law that just has never existed before. And I'm really excited with the lessons we've been able to tease out of that over the last 10 years. When we talked about my role, unfortunately, a good chunk of the time we get a statistic, a table, a chart, and we look at it and we have to be like, what does that mean? And having experience in running a law firm, having just honestly hundreds of conversations with law firms and customers like every year, I'm one of the people who can look at that chart and be like, I think I know what we're seeing. And this is why I think it's different and important to law firms. No.
And what's the feedback you get from lawyers as far as how helpful they find that information?
Honestly, just like you said, like they open it like it's their Bible, right? And it does several things. Like every year we publish benchmark metrics,
right.
The hourly rate that we talked about, right? But also performance metrics. Like how much of a lawyer's day is spent on billable work. And right now we're actually approaching about 30%, which is great. It's actually a 60% improvement on where we are back in 2016.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Pretty low.
Yeah. Yeah. When we look at the utilization rate, how much of your day is spent on billable work, the realization rate, how much of that billed work ends up on the invoice, and then your collection rate, how much of that invoice gets paid. In 2016, the average lawyer was only getting paid for 1.5 hours of a normal business day. We're now up over 2 hours of a lawyer's day spent. We've gone from 18% of your day doing compensatable work to now 30% of your day doing compensatable work. And it's a bit of a chicken and egg, right? Are lawyers getting better at recording time, like focusing on what matters? Is Clio making it easier for them to reduce the administrative burden? I think it's both coming together. But we've seen this just growth and improvement over time, but still lots of room to improve on top of that.
With Clio, now going large law.
Yeah.
Which I think always been the plan. But now when you put the VLEX, with it,
yeah,
it's accelerating very fast.
Very fast.
How do you see that, or how does that affect you? What do you envision?
So I do think the big data that goes into Clio's Legal Trends Report is actually something that we rely on our customers to contribute. Like, it is not a given that we get this information. There's a setting in Clio where you can opt out, right? So even at this high level anonymized aggregate, there are law firms that opt out, but honestly, the vast majority of them are committed to helping inform themselves and the legal industry on what works when it comes to practicing law. I worry that we're not going to see that same community approach from big law. And this is speculation, right? A year from now, you and I might be pleasantly surprised. But I do wonder, are we going to have the same participation and the same recognition that we're all in this together from big law? And we're just going to have to see. We know they have different requests when it comes to purchasing software.
What's the most exciting thing you're working on right now?
Ooh, that's a great question. So the vision that Jack laid out for Clio Work yesterday at the keynote, which is an artificial enhanced platform that like kind of anticipates and understands your work and like tries to prep it for you, is a vision that I've been pushing for the last 5 years. And so the Legal Trends Report is in some way validating that. So in this year, we looked for the second year in a row at artificial intelligence adoption rates. And 79% of law firms we surveyed are telling us they're using AI. The bigger the law firm, the higher percentage, actually. We're up into the 87% for law firms of 50 plus, right? But what we're seeing when we then also look at it through a longitudinal study, who's growing fastest in those law firms, the law firms that are growing fastest, having greater than 20% revenue growth over a 5-year period, they are the fastest to adopt automation. They are the fastest to adopt AI. And so this platform that we're building, Clio Work, I think it's just going to be a rocket behind these law firms. And we're going to see them just grow like you wouldn't believe. We already see these growing law firms have improved their utilization rate 11% over the last 5 years, right? Whereas, and that's led to a doubling of revenue. We see that they handle more matters on average per lawyer. We see that their revenue growth per lawyer is much faster as well. And so, and we also know that they more value the client experience when they're looking at technology and purchasing technology. So I think they're the ones who get it. And they're going to build a law firm that recognizes clients are hiring lawyers for their expertise. They can go to their own AI. Clients can go to their own AI. And in fact, we talk about it in the report. 54%, 54, 53, 50 some odd percent are open to going to AI and asking legal questions. And 14% already have. But there's this kind of this weird inverse stat where 78% of clients are telling us they want their lawyer to disclose if they're using AI. And that actually has gone up since last year. It's higher. And so I think there's starting to be this public perception that, yeah, there are these AI tools. They seem authoritative, but when I need help, I need an expert. I need a lawyer. I don't want to hire an AI. So, and these growing law firms are the ones who are going to show their expertise, create a client experience, leverage technology and automation, and just grow like rockets. I'm very excited about that.
No, it's all involved in. I mean, it works.
Yeah,
the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was, and the thing that impressed me, it wasn't saying, okay, it's going to be here for just for the AmLaw firms. You're a solo practitioner. It's available in that same environment.
The same environment, and at a price point that we specifically designed to be solo friendly. Because I mean, building this technology isn't cheap, as you know. And all the support we put around the technology as well is something that we really value, but again, not cheap. So we're hoping we nail this price point of $199 a month for Clio Work. so that lawyers and law firms of all sizes can take advantage of what we're building.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we didn't talk legal trends report like a whole bunch, but there's so much more.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot more.
There's a lot more. So if your readers want to read it themselves, it's available at clio.com/LTR. And it's just a real honor to be here with you.
But it's a great report.
Yeah.
Because I'll go through and I'll highlight certain things. We could be sitting here going through line by line.
Yeah.
But it's the type of report you can keep available. And my guess is that when people do see, my God, I only produced this in a day.
Yeah.
Then they start to keep track of it themselves more often. And probably the technology helps as well.
One of the new things we published this year, and this is, I just go kind of on like hunts for like new data, is we did a look at the responsible lawyer field in Clio, which is a field on every matter. And it's in the solo lawyer, right? In bigger law firms, it might be like the first chair in litigation, or the lawyer who's overseeing the paralegals and doing the sign off. But it's a universal metric, and I could look at it. And what we've published this year is the median and the average annual revenue for lawyers of all the firm sizes that we track, going all the way back to 2016. So you can take a look at, I'm a solo lawyer, the median in 2023 was $83,000, and the average was $137,000. Is that what I'm making? Or if you're in a big law firm, right? And you're like, I have 10 senior associates overseeing different teams. Am I making that 500,000? That's the average for firms of 20 plus. Yeah. So, I mean, we really give you like so many benchmarks, and we're only discovering more every year.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.